I mean, it's not going to win any awards or anything, but I was entertained. Alright, so just me today, mostly because I got a long list of movies I gotta catch up on, and I just didn't want to wait for anyone else to be available for this, so I was like, you know what? I could do Snake Eyes. You know, I've been kind of apologetic towards the G.I. Joe movies in the past, so I'll take this one by myself. I'm trying to think of when the last one came out. I want to say it was like at least 5 years ago, probably longer. I don't even remember if we did a review on it. I think we did. So sometime within the span of this show existing. And I remember liking it. Like, it was dumb fun, but I'm not exactly expecting much from a G.I. Joe movie, you know? Now, to be clear, right at the bat, I should emphasize, I have no childhood connection to the source material at all. G.I. Joe was not one of mine. I know very little about it. I think the only things I ever really knew about there is a Cobra Commander who went la 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 la. I think it was a meme. I know like Baroness and Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow. Pretty much any characters in this movie are the only ones I'm even like remotely aware of. I think one was called Roadblock. And the ice dude that everyone made fun of, like, that's it. I know nothing about G.I. Joe. So maybe that's why I enjoyed this movie a lot more than critics did, because I was looking at the Rotten Tomatoes scoring, and I was like, they just kind of tore this movie a new one, and I'm like, it's not great, but I think it's better than they're giving it credit for. I heard a lot of the complaints about, the action not being great, and that's true. The action is over-edited, but even then, I don't think even that was as bad as a lot of people are making it out to be. Like, it's this horrible thing. I thought I liked the characters. I liked the story. The actors are really selling the shit out of this material. It's not AAA threat material, but again, for like a summer blockbuster thing, I think it does its job perfectly fine. It's fucking ninjas. It's not like there's like I don't know if Snake Eyes has a big backstory in the G.I. Joe universe. But I'm also of the mind, kind of a similar thought with the He-Man reboot or sequel series that just came out recently. Everyone got really mad about it. Whereas, like, if you guys are getting mad that a spinoff of some kind is not, like, living up to the magnificence of the lore of the franchise, I have fucking news for you. Both He-Man and G.I. Joe are insanely cynical products from the 80s who were created because Reagan deregulated things so they can make shows just to sell toys. And that's exactly what G.I. Joe was to a T. And I'm not saying if you enjoyed it, you're bad or anything like that. But keep in mind, the origin of this series has not exactly lent itself to in-depth lore as much as nostalgia probably tells you it did. Therefore, this is one of those cases where I think you can really do anything in this material, and it's probably better than the source material. I'm gonna probably get a lot of hate for saying that. I don't know. Do I have a lot of hardcore G.I. Joe fans in the audience? I guess I'll find out. So this movie has basically starts off. It's exactly what it says on the title. It is an origin story from the most popular character in G.I. Joe, which is the ninja Snake Eyes, the silent ninja who has a really cool visor thing and kills a bunch of things with a sword. It's not a mystery to figure out why this character is so popular. So this story, I'm gonna pull up the cast list now because I'm out so I can avoid doing it later. Basically, it stars this character who only goes by Snake Eyes. His real name is never really declared. Who has this hardcore origin story where he watches his dad get murdered by who would eventually turn out to be a member of Cobra. I don't think that's a spoiler. It's pretty obvious. The dude's got a gimmick. In the G.I. Joe universe, any villain with a gimmick works for Cobra. I think that's, again, it's on brand. It's not surprising. Sorry, my nose is stuffy. I'm getting over a cold, and I'm stuffed up. It's really annoying. But yeah, Henry Golding plays Snake Eyes, and honestly, he's a good chunk of why this movie's as good as it is, because the dude is goddamn charismatic. Like, he is carrying this entire movie on his back. He's charming, he's got charisma, he can sell the material, he makes his arc work. He sells his relationship with who eventually Storm Shadow, who is named Tommy, who's played by Andrew Koji. I hope I'm saying that right. Who's also pretty good in this. Honestly, a lot of the acting is surprisingly decent for, again, what is at best a cheap cash grab from the Hasbro team in Paramount trying to milk something out of the G.I. Joe franchise, which you could tell has not quite gone the way they would have hoped. They were clearly hoping for like next Transformers series, but that has yet to happen. So I kept 3 to make this work, including recasting Baroness for the 3rd fucking time. I don't know why it seems so hard to cast that character, but every time they seem to cast her, it seems like the casting just gets worse and worse for Baroness. Anyway, so Henry Golding is trying to figure out who killed his dad. He has no information because his dad left off the grid, and therefore he is off the grid. His name is, like, nobody knows who the fuck he is. And he just moves from town to town doing underground fight, like Mortal Kombat shit. And takes them for all they're worth and moves on to the next one. That is until one day he meets this guy who is basically like the head of the Yakuza, whose name is I don't know why he's not higher up on the casting list. That is very annoying. That is extremely annoying. Who the fuck is this guy? The bad guy. The bad guy comes in and says, hey, I can tell you who killed your father, but you gotta come work for me. So he starts working for him, and it turns out that Tommy has infiltrated this group because the villain is his brother, who is also like in line to inherit, or was in line to inherit this leadership role for this ninja clan they're both a part of. But he decided to go bad, and now he's trying to get back revenge on them. Tommy tries to stop him, but his brother catches him, and he tells Snake Eyes to execute Tommy, but he doesn't do it. Instead, he saves him, at which point Tommy brings him back to his clan, where he tells him, like, we're basically like, I think you have the potential to be a ninja warrior, so we're going to train you to be a ninja warrior. Come work for us. He says, okay, but then other shenanigans happen, which I may be going into later, depends on if I really want to go to spoilers or not. And that's the basic story. And for what it's worth, I think it mostly works. Like, again, this isn't Oscar-worthy material. It's not trying to be. But I think, like, the acting and the performances really elevate the material because, like Tommy and Snake Eyes, like, legitimately do have good chemistry together. Their arcs make perfect sense. You already know that Tommy's eventually going to be a turn to Storm Shadow and eventually join the Cobras, but the pathway to get there actually makes a lot of sense. And it's actually a fairly, like, the writing here is surprisingly, like, decent for this kind of genre movie, or blockbuster movie. And, sorry, my nose is really stuffing. It's really annoying. But yeah, and the build up to where this eventually go works pretty well. Henry Golding is still kind of trying to play both sides because he's still trying to figure out who killed his father. So the way they kind of play that into it makes a lot of sense. The way, this is going to spoiler territory, the way he eventually kind of makes his third act mistake that he then has to make up for definitely gives credence as to why, like, other people would fucking hate him after that. It all follows a pretty consistent, like, frame of logic. Where the point where it's like, I was legitimately getting into this kind of ninja world and this kind of ninja culture, and like a lot of the training montages were actually pretty decent. Like, they were cool. There's a scene with the giant snakes, for example, that was pretty cool to look at. So all those stuff worked on its face to the point where, like, you honestly didn't really need G.I. Joe or Cobra to show up. In fact, like, if anything, I would say, like, that's kind of what started to, those were like the lesser parts of this movie. When Cobra does show up, and you're kind of like, oh, yeah, fuck, yeah, this is about, like, international spy shit. And then the Baroness shows up, and she's not played by a very good actress. That exists. And then Samara Weaving, and I love Samara Weaving, shows up, but she barely does anything. She's just there to establish, like, G.I. Joe as a presence and set up future movies, I guess. But, like, again, she's barely in the fucking movie. She barely fucking matters. It's mostly between Tommy, Snake Eyes, and the security chief, Akiko. I hope I'm saying that right. Otherwise, I'm going to be a horrible monster. The villain's name is Kenta. That's what his name is. I think. Yeah, I'm going to go with that. I didn't recognize him from the headshot because he's bald in the movie. But anywho, so yeah, when it's about those three characters and like in this ninja world, they're doing ninja shit and all that stuff. Like the movie actually works a pretty good clip. All the characters are consistent. Their arcs are well written. The performances are pretty solid for them. To the point where even like the action scenes when they do happen, yeah, there's a lot of shaky cam. There's a lot of rolling around, and sometimes it's hard to tell what's going on. I don't really think it's bad. Well, I mean, it's bad directing, but it wasn't like incompetence. It was just stylistic choices that just didn't work. But that being said, there are some legitimately cool shots in there. I will definitely understand people who are disappointed the action scenes aren't better because the movie about like a fucking ninja, like a super ninja, the action scenes should be the best part of it, but they're not, and that is disappointing. I will absolutely acknowledge that. That being said, I will make the argument that if you're willing to look past that, there's actually still a lot you can get out of this. And that is, again, like Henry Golding is a great leading man. I don't know what else he's been in. I've probably seen him some stuff, but like he can carry a franchise. He like if you want to make more of these, he probably could, and I'd be happy to watch them. And like I said, I would like to see like where the rivalry between him and Storm Shadow goes. Like they create threads in the narrative that I'd be curious to see more of. Like that's how good these performances are. Even if like some of the more blockbuster-esque stuff around it isn't quite up to par. And maybe that's something we flesh out a sequel if this does indeed get a sequel. So I mean, I don't really have too much to say beyond that, other than like, you know, for what it was, I had a good time with it. I was entertained. I don't think this gets nearly as much of the hate that it's currently getting. I don't know if I ever watch it again. I don't think, like, it's definitely, like, there are better movies in, like, the blockbuster genre that do these kind of things better, but, all that being said, I think there's a lot of redemptive qualities to this movie that are getting overlooked and overshadowed, by its worst aspects, and I think that's a shame, because I do think there's legitimately good quality stuff here to talk about, and enjoy. So, I don't know, count this as guilty pleasure, I guess. Well, not even guilty, because I don't feel guilty about liking this. I enjoyed it. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I'm glad I saw it. So yeah, pretty short review on this. I don't have a lot more to say about that, other than I will be one of these, like, few defenders, I guess. So, yeah. Gonna try to catch one of the next movies the next few days. I know, Muha and I are planning to do, like, an old / escape room double feature probably on Monday, so look out for that. Otherwise, God, I don't even know what's out here. Oh yeah, Jungle Cruise, gotta watch that, and something else I'm drawing a blank on. I don't know, I'll figure it out. We'll watch something else sooner or later. Thank you guys for being patient when we catch up with our backlog. We're definitely at that stage of things, are reopening with COVID, where we have the same problem we had every year pre-COVID, which is it's just too much coming out and not enough time to watch all of them. So we're just keep in mind, we're doing our best. We're trying to get through all these things. If there's something in particular you would like me to watch, let me know in the comments. I know I still gotta watch Arlo, the Alligator Boy. That was a fan request I got a while back. Just don't give me a gigantic list. If you give me a gigantic list, I'm gonna ask you to go to Patreon first. So thank you guys all for watching. I'll see you all later. Hope you enjoyed this extremely short Streamlined review. Bye-bye.